Out here in the field picking up chunks. I thought this is what I had kids for, was to do stuff like this, but they're all the time in school. This is the worst of it. I did a better job down there. I raked the roots and stuff up as I went and piled them. And then when I dug the hole to bury the ashes and the root balls, I buried them roots too and got good, clean, fresh dirt up on top. Wish I'd done that here, but didn't think about it at the time. Right there, that's an old piece of leather. Used to be a shoe factory here in Dyer. And all them old men, if there was a wash, they'd take them leather scraps and put in the ditches. You don't know how much of that old leather is around here on this old farm. You find a piece occasionally, but it's cold out here, guys. Using the newer gator, because it's got the electric dump bed on it. My old gator don't have it, but it's cold. I got burnt. I was burning a brush pile one year, I don't know, several years ago, and I got burnt real bad and burnt my hands real bad. And that old skin on my hands is thin, boy, and when it gets cold, I get cold these days. Yesterday was I can't remember what year anniversary of Robert getting smacked in the face with the 8 years ago. We had a small boomer that you boom the header down on the header cart, and Robert went to undo it and he was bent over it. Boomer hit him in the eye socket, dang near knocked his eye out. So if y'all got any of them old boomers, throw them things in the scrap iron and go get you some ratchet binders.
That's why we use a big ratchet strap on the main header instead of a boomer.
Yeah, we changed the method of strapping the header down, because they ain't nothing but man killers. Matter of fact, Robert's got to go have surgery this fall to repair his nasal passage.
Yeah, 8 years later,
8 years later, he's still dealing with the consequences. All right, let's pick up more chunks. Enough of telling our old war stories of our injuries from the past. We sound like a bunch of old men now. I think I'm just gonna sit in here and let Robert pick up the rest of the chunks. It feels good in here. See right there? Y'all thought I was full of crap about that shoe leather, didn't you? Y'all learned something today.
I would have made a racket going through the combine.
What you got there, Robert? Nah, that John Deere chewed it up and spit it out like it was nothing if you could get it through the feeder house. That's what all the TikTokers say, said farmers don't need a gator. All farmers do is ride around and drink beer. That's not true. Look at there. liquid encouragement. Ain't that right, Brewster? Oh, Granny was cold this morning, boy. She getting a little hard to start. I think it's about time for an in-frame overhaul. I'm gonna give her a little time to sit here and warm up. We're gonna let it get, we don't need to catch her GPS signal anyways. So that's a good time to let it sit, warm up. You know, when you wake up in the first thing in the morning, do you like to just jump out of bed, or would you rather, you know, lay there a couple of minutes and get to percolate? Kind of same thing on these old tractors. Gives that oil time to thin out a little bit and get to lubricating stuff and things like that. So I'm planting on the side of this hill right now that was once fence row. We may double plant it, but there's the old hay field down there, and we're coming back later. I'll show you how them rows used to crook around. Now we gonna have all straight roads. But yes, I am going slow on the tie side of this hill, giving the GPS time to do its thing. But I started this little project when I was about 16, 17 years old. And it all started, I had my granddaddy's old equipment, these 246s, his planter, and the old 4400 combine, and I wanted some ground to farm. Well, all this up here was rented to another farmer, and I didn't have the money to rent that from the family. But we had this old lot right here that wasn't doing anything. And I decided that I was going to clear that up and farm it. Right there, there's an old well right there. And then there used to be a pond right there. And using nothing but a 4640 and a front end blade, I pushed that pond in. No telling how many times I got stuck in where that old pen was. And there was a big old brush pile in the middle of it too. So I had to push that brush pile. I pushed the brush pile in the pond and then pushed the bank of the pond over it and buried that brush pile. Right here used to be a fence row. It was 2020 when we took it out, and we added what we used to call that lot. I farmed that little lot there for several years. And after I started farming more ground, we started calling that the high yield plot, where we experimented with new things, trying to build that soil up and get it to do something. I just thought of another story. This fence row it done got pretty wide down there on the bottom side, because you can tell it's pretty steep here. Well, I took the front end blade of the tractor, tighten that fence row up, and I would plant 40 foot down through here and 40 foot down through that next to that other fence row. I got a picture of the 4400 shelling corn down next to that fence row. You know, I was 16, 17 and just wanted something to plant, you know, just trying to make the dream of farming come true. So I had an acre right there, and then whatever 40 foot there and 40 foot there was, that was my big crop, you know. We started adding acres and getting a little better equipment, and we was able to take that fence row out, and we just put it in here with the big field. Well, we've always called this field up here 40 acres, and we've always called this hay field 3. So, you know, we kind of thought when I drew the new boundary, it would be 43 acres. Well, when we drew the new boundary around it, it come out to 46 acres. Robert said, I never, you know, dreamed it would increase it that much. I said, yeah, but Robert, I said, you take, I don't know, let's see, let me count the drill passes. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 60 foot we was losing here, and probably about the same down there. You take 60 foot around 3 acres and it adds up. You don't realize how much ground you're losing from them old fence rows. And another thing we noticed is the corn next to that fence row always burned up. Well, this year, after we took them trees down in the spring, well, that corn that normally burns up, that stripped down through there. It was the best corn we shelled on this whole block, you know, 130, 140 bushel corn versus, you know, that old hill making 90, you know. So, this project's been a long time coming, but I'm glad to have all this tied together and make it into a real nice field. It's gonna be a little rough for a year or two, but it'll settle in. We'll get her in good shape. We worked hard to get this field in pretty good shape. That basin right there, that was the very first thing I did with my 4650 when I bought it. Was I built that basin right there with the dirt pan.
This is Dylan Joyce with his new dirt pan. He's pulling this 6-yard pan with a 1988 John Deere 4650. This tractor handles this little dirt pan very well. This is Robert Joyce on his 4640 tractor with a Dingleman front end blade. He's using this tractor to shape the dirt that Dylan's panning to build a new terrace.
That's the very first thing I did. No, I take it back. That's the second thing I done with my 4650. The first thing I did with my 4650 was I put the ripper on and I ripped that field right there. And I've got a video on another channel that I posted years ago, and the name of the channel is Deere Tractors 852, and you can see that video of the 4650 when we first bought it ripping. It's got like 48,000 views on there of that video. One of the highest viewed videos I ever made. And I just forgot that I had that channel when I made this channel. I already had some subscribers over there on it. And you know, I had that video that done really good. But I just plumb forgot I had that channel. Because I done it when I was in high school, didn't think nothing about it. I wish I'd went over there and, you know, started my YouTube channel on that channel I already had established. But I'll put it down here in the video, Deere Tractors 852, and there's a video on that channel on my 6620, us harvesting oats. That's a good video. But right here is where we changed. The rows go from straight to went from straight to curved rows. They would come down here and well, actually, them rows ran parallel with the creek over there, and we would have a set of curved rows and right here, and that's why we're at an angle to these rows. Robert's down there trying to get y'all some cool shots to do our voiceover work with. Bruiser. I love him to death, but he ain't a very smart dog. So we're drilling some certified seed right now. Pretty big seed. It's 10,500 seed per pound. and we're shooting for 1.5 million. It's jumping between 1.4 and 1.6, but you know, most time it's around that 1.5 there. Kind of depends on the terrain of your ground. There goes the 1.5. But that's 100 at 150 pounds an acre. It should be 1.575 million. So we're drilling 1.5 million. This certified seed is pretty high. So that's the reason we're not drilling but 1.5 million. We should, we bought 100 units. It should end up being around 33 acres, 30 to 33 acres of this certified seed. It's Mr. John Wiley from Mobine County Farmers Co-op come by and saw us, and he said had a new Pioneer weight that he would like for us to try. So we tried it. We're trying it here. The weight we saved, the germ is a little low on it, so we're probably gonna flood it out pretty thick. Probably at least probably around 180 pounds. I gotta go find my sheet that tells me my seed per pound, but I mean it shouldn't matter. We got the monitor in here telling us, but we're probably gonna drill it somewhere around 1.9 million since the germ is low on it. That's higher than I normally drill. Normally I'm always around that 1.5 million mark, which I think is actually a little lower than a lot of people plant. But I mean, which up until this year, I always drilled certified. Well, I've drilled certified weight, and then I got a guy I've been buying my weight seed from that I really trust and really does a good job with his stuff. So, but I decided to save some of my own this year. So we're gonna plant it pretty thick. I got 520 bushels of bed. Right now the game plan is to have about 188 acres is what I got figured up. That number may decrease or it may increase. It just depends. And Robert said something about drilling some weight on his two farms. I don't know if he's going to follow through or not. I guess we'll see when we get there. Robert's trying to get a good shot, and Bruiser's up there wanting to play fetch. Well, we'll have us a good plot. We got no till, minimum till, conventional till, new ground, no till hay ground. We just about have every scenario under the sun in this field.